10 goals for the season for Mohamed Salah in the Premier League, and that has contributed hugely to Liverpool's goal difference of plus 16. But the most important result of that match is that 3 points takes Liverpool 8 points clear of Manchester City, their nearest title rivals. Arne Slot's plan looks to be working out perfectly for him and for Liverpool. Wasn't easy for them though. We'll take a look at how they managed to do it with the winning goal scored by the Egyptian king from the spot. And for Liverpool at the top of the table, they stretched their lead to 8 points over Manchester City, but they were made to fight for it by Southampton, who went 2-1 up, Jamie.
Yeah, it's always difficult after an international break. It just feels different. It's hard to get yourself going, and it certainly took Liverpool time. But Southampton at second half, certainly the first sort of 50 minutes of the game, Tyler Dibley, so influential all game, so hard to stop. It looks like the chance has gone here with Armstrong, but Fernandes makes a great run. And it's a tough finish, and he just manages to just slide it in. You can see Dibbing there, just chops it back, waits for that run. Then you see all the Liverpool players rushing over, showing great enthusiasm to get back, but then forgetting Fernandes' run, and it's too late. And a lovely, really, really clinical finish.
Liverpool have relied on Mohamed Salah. This game, no exception, is he?
And he won't get many easier than that. I mean, the positioning from the goalkeeper is all wrong. It's just a ball in behind, which actually looks like it's not going to be a great ball, but Mo Salah's run, he carries it on, he's onside, and then he just has a little glance, sees the goalkeeper out, and he's used the space in behind.
There were several errors throughout the game. Southampton sort of architected their own downfalls. This one may be the most understated.
Yeah, it summed up their performance really, and particularly defensively. They gifted Liverpool the goals. Do you know the way I look at it? I think Southampton found a way to lose. Lack of confidence, lack of belief. And then Salah, he's the man on the spot, obviously. Brilliant finish. Liverpool didn't play great, but they scored 3 goals. Huge win for him. You feel for Southampton, and particularly the goalkeeper. And I'm quick to go in hard on goalkeepers, but that's a goalkeeper who's not played for 3 months. You could tell he's just rusty, his decision making, and it's cost him.
Thoughts on the title race now?
But for Liverpool, listen, they can huge game next weekend. If Liverpool could win that, certainly avoid defeat, then they're obviously favourites.
Liverpool up against Manchester City next weekend. You'll be able to see it live on Sky Sports. If you want more reaction to the game at St Mary's, you can get that on Sky Sports.
You almost thought, oh, here we go. And it just doesn't happen. And then this goal here, I mean, we've seen it here, the goals. It's such a nice goal, but Lewis Dibley, I mean, he's been fantastic all season for Southampton, only 18 years old, but he just runs and runs and runs. But it's the quality and the vision to see the run from Armstrong. I mean, it's just the touch, he gets his body in the wrong position, but again, they flood the men forward, and that's probably the first time, you'd have to say, they had so many men forward. And they took it really, really well.
Yeah. And in keeping with Southampton's play, Teddy, a bizarre equaliser.
Yep. I mean, it's a gift again. Salah's trying to bring this down. Keeper's coming out of his goal. I don't know whether the wind has played a part in it. Very windy today. It just looks awful, doesn't it? I don't know where he's going, the goalkeeper. You know, just stay on your line, let your defenders deal with it. Who knows what's going to happen? It's a gift, absolute gift.
I mean, when you think of it today, there wasn't huge amounts of nice play. Everything was a mistake, wasn't it? And it's great for the paying public to watch. But again, is it handball? Yes, it's clear as day. It's a handball and it's a penalty, and Salah converts. But for the managers, for the staff, you can go through every single goal and hopefully improve, and that's all Russell Martin. It's small margins for Russell Martin. That's all he can think about, because Liverpool eventually get the result there. But on the opposite ends of the table, of the scale, you've got Southampton continuing to struggle and cause their own problems and cause their own downfall.
Yeah, a little bit stressed in that, but once Liverpool got back, quite like Neil said about getting an equaliser quickly, it was just finding the moment to open up Southampton, and there was plenty of time, and they done that, and they could have added to that at the end.
Let's focus then on the match winner, Neil. Steve Hunter, right at the end of the game, called him a world-class genius, Mo Salah. We saw the com-cam from the Brighton game, by the way. I think by April, if Liverpool are 8 points clear, you might have to stop Steve Hunter from going into orbit. He's going to be that excited, because he was bad enough today after that goal. But, I mean, you sort of run out of things to say about Mo Salah. You will do the review show, and I'm sure there'll be even more fresh records to talk about tomorrow. 100 goals now away from Anfield, but he comes to Liverpool's rescue time and time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, world class, without a doubt he is. For me, he is the best all-round attacker in the Premier League. There is no one better for goals, for assists, for creating chances. He is that match winner where maybe you're not quite at it, he'll just produce something from absolutely nothing.
Do you know what I think? I think he's parked an ego, and I think it's not about him. I think he wants the records, absolutely, that's what the top players do, but I think he's a real team player within the group. Yeah, at times he doesn't really need to track back as much, but I think Slot makes him do it a little bit more than normal. But I just think when you get him on the ball 1v1, like Neil said, all-round game, he's the top attacking in this league. It probably could be in the world.
What about his finish, his first goal? The goalkeeper's come out, he's in no man's land.
But he sees it.
He sees that.
He sees that. That's not, it's a bad touch. He's seen where the goalkeeper is. He knows that the goalkeeper is probably 10, 15 yards outside his goal, and he actually dinks away outside his left foot back across the goal, get into the net.
Some players take a touch there. Some players take a touch, maybe take it in there, it gets cleared, or run it out of play. But he sees it, and his decision making in that split moment gets Liverpool back in the game.
But again, that's what separates the top great players to good players. That split second makes a difference.
Well, as he scored the winner, Charlie, you posed the question as we were watching the game, but Neil wouldn't have heard because he was on commentary. But in terms of the greatest Liverpool players of all time, what number do you put him?
He's in the list, without a doubt.
Where? You know, I think he's top three.
Of all time?
Of all time. And I'm only going from what I think. I think Kenny and I think Stevie and I think Mo Salah's next in the list. You know, there'll be a lot of older ones within Liverpool will be shooting me down right now, but I think he's one of...
It's a different generation.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some absolutely great players. I mean, John Barnes, Hansons, Phil Thompson. We've had some unbelievable... Ian Callum. We've had some unbelievable players. This generation, I think he comes as Liverpool's greatest attacker in the Premier League era. I'm not even mentioning Ian Rush.
Of a real contender to be a champion again. And I think I said it before, I think there's a freshness with Mo Salah since the new manager's coming in. I think there's a different personality, and the way he's playing is top level.
The professionalism. Because the outside knows...
What about when he ripped his top off? I was thinking, can I buy them things that are on him?
I don't like those yellow cards. He's scored the goal, he's not got...
I thought you were going to say I don't like those abs then, it makes you feel a bit conscious.
I do like those abs, but the professionalism, because there's a lot of outside noise about the contract situation.
Yeah.
We know it's ongoing. Time and again he's delivered. Look at his numbers. He is delivering every game. There's no distraction from his quality of performance, despite everyone outside thinking, what's going on? Well, what's going on is he's performing time and time again for Liverpool. It's great to watch.
And when you talk as well about elite mentality, the effort where he hits the post, you see his reaction straight away. He's banging his fist into the turf as if to say, 2 goals is not good enough for me. I should have scored a hat-trick there. That should have been another little statistic to add to the list.
Yeah, that's just the ruthlessness of him. He's not thinking about. He's thinking that that's a hat trick. That could have been. And so on. He's probably thinking that takes the game away from Southampton, and then it's game over. That's it, done. And he's thinking, if it got to 3-3, then he would have thought that was a big moment for him. But no, I just see him at the moment. He's electric, and he's enjoying his football, which we can really see.
OK, let's bring our fans in. Justin, Mo and Abigail have watched that. Abigail looked like she'd lost about 5 years of her life in stoppage time when we just popped up to do a sound test. So I think we're back to a normal heartbeat. Let's start with you then, Justin, all the way from Nashville. What is it, 10 o'clock in the morning, something like that?
It is now, yes.
Nice.
It's early kickoff today.
Early kickoff, but you're bright and early, and I'm sure it's been worth it to see Liverpool go 8 points clear. Let's start with talking about Mo Salah then, and the influence you've watched him have on this Liverpool team in the last, whatever it is, 7 years.
Oh, he's perfect, beautiful, resplendent. It was 100 goals, away goals, right, for him today?
Correct.
Which I guess is why I cued the yellow card for the top taking off. Unfortunately, I missed that moment, but I got to hear it. I'm just in a room just outside of our watch crew. So, Mo's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
Let's go Mo on Mo then, and you would have heard the chat we were just having, Mo, in terms of the greatest of all time. Where does he sit on the list for you?
All square at half-time at St Mary's. It's 1-1. Liverpool went ahead through Szoboszlai, but Southampton created the opportunity for
well, we heard the Liverpool manager speak before the game. Obviously, we're going to put him we're going to press him. But I honestly, I'll go back. I think this is madness. I really do. And I love teams playing out from the back. Goalkeeper, an experienced goalkeeper, run to a player. And I'd love to stop and go, what do you think he's going to do with it? Liverpool are all over him. And we've seen Southampton doing this so many times. They've got bodies in the back. So the goalkeeper here, he's in control of it. You're under pressure. Obviously, you're playing Liverpool. There's plenty of bodies around. Bad decision. They never quite recover. It goes back. Obviously, poor clearance. Goalkeeper, nobody's alive to it. I think it's madness. Great finish, but
No idea. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, they're trying to play out from the back, but at that level of football, you know when you're under pressure and you know when to get rid, and they just haven't done it, and it's cost them a goal.
You have to be streetwise. You have to be streetwise in this game.
Let's take a look at the penalty incident. I mean, again, it's pointing to being streetwise, Jamie. That might be a question over this. But it starts with a strange decision there.
Yeah, it's not a great piece of play by Virgil van Dijk. Tries to backheel it and they get caught. And the last play on the pitch you want running at you at this kind of place is Tyler Dibley. He is that good. He's got a lovely ability of just drawing you in, knocking it too far so you think you can win it, and then he just knocks it past you right in the last second. Such a talented player. Andy Robertson gets his foot pattern wrong. Is it inside the box? Is it out? Listen, it's debatable. But once the on-field decision has been that it's a penalty, I don't think when you look at where his left foot is there, you're going to get that overturned.
So VAR have said they think that Andy Robertson's foot was on the line.
Yeah.
But even if it was debatable, as you said, they're
it
not
would be
going to
hard to overturn.
Decision.
It's 100% a foul, penalty, whatever way you look at it. And he gets so lucky. Strong misses the first one, and then you can see Kelleher comes out and he manages to just get it through his legs. Look at this, look. And that relief after, getting himself back in it, but a little bit self-inflicted by Liverpool.
Interesting decision with a yellow card here for Adam Lallana. It's not something that Jamie Carragher necessarily picked up in commentary, but all three of you here in the studio thought this could have been given as a red card.
Oh, I think so. Look at him here, right? Then he's not in control. He's not even looking at the ball here at the right last second. Well, put it this way, I would have been sent off for it. But, no, I would have been 100%, and I probably would have had no complaints.
Because of reputation, do you think?
Possibly, and obviously from previous experiences on the football pitch. But they've definitely looked at the player there and thought, well, he's not really a nasty type. None of the Liverpools went kind of after him. They're all polite with him. He's an ex-teammate. I think he's got away with one. To me, the more I look at it, the worse it is. I think it's a red.
Performance. I think they've been really sloppy today. I think they've been very lethargic. Once they went ahead, that should have been the impetus to then start playing. But I don't think they're playing well at all. The manager will not be happy. Alan Armstrong, poor penalty, gets the rebound to take them level. And Liverpool need a kick up the backside because they're not playing well today.
Yeah, I agree. I think Southampton have gifted them their goal. I thought they would have gone and got 2-3 more. They haven't. But you best believe second half, Southampton will keep playing the same way. And Liverpool, if they're a little bit more switched on, a little bit more on the front foot, they're going to get more chances because Southampton will give them chances.
The way Southampton play, they always give up chances, don't they, Joshine?
I think it was 3 minutes after they scored. After Liverpool scored, they gave them another chance straight after, and it's like, what are you thinking? Come on, learn your lesson, boys.
Congratulations, Arne. Perhaps a different type of win today. How do you sum up the performance from your players?
Second half, I saw the intensity I was looking for in the first half as well. But in general, I think Southampton have made it really difficult for many teams till now, also the top clubs. And they made it difficult for us today as well, although we dominated the game completely, in my opinion.
The intensity you said there, perhaps you were lacking in the first half. Why was that, do you think?
Yeah, that's always difficult. Maybe because, although we only came up after half an hour, but I didn't feel there was really urgency to arrive in the box and to make it really difficult over there. We just kept the ball instead of attacking the box, in my opinion, enough. Second half, although we did came behind with 2-1, I saw much more urgency, much more intensity in everything we did, and that led to numerous chances and eventually to 2 goals.
Yeah, how much of that was the message to the players ahead of this one today, trying to capitalise on those moments with that press? Ultimately, you've got 2 goals out of it this afternoon, but was that the main message going into this game?
Yes, and for the rest it was also had to do with their playing style, so a low 5-4-1 block, so how do you create your chances against the low block? But we also know that this team always wants to play out from the back, so then you need to be really aggressive, because if you don't, they have a very good game plan and a very good idea. If you are 95%, they play through it. I said before the game, I showed them many clips that they did this against other clubs as well. But if you are really aggressive, it's also a chance, and that's what it was for us today.
Mo Salah's scored a number of goals for you already this season. I think there's no underestimating his importance, is there? But just how big are those 2 that he's scored today in the context of this title race?
No, if you want to win, it's always important to score goals, and we all know that Mo can score goals for us. And again, he scored 2 today, one from the penalty spot. But the other one was, in my opinion, the most important one, because at that moment of time, I didn't really feel that we were that it was a moment for us to score a goal, but he scored it almost out of nowhere. Great pass from Ryan, And then afterwards, after 2-2, it was actually waiting for us to score another one, which we did again with Mo, but this time from the penalty spot, was it? Yeah, it was.
Whilst perhaps you weren't as ruthless as we have seen this afternoon, what are the positives you'll take from this in terms of the platform now this result gives you going into such a big week against Real Madrid and then Man City?
The positive is that we fought back after being 2-1 down, but I think it was only 2 times that they arrived in our 18-yard box. The first one was not even a chance, but we made a foul that made it a big chance from a penalty. And the second one was a great counter-attack from, I think, a set piece from us. So I think in general we dominated the game completely, but because of the scoreline, we all felt like it's a difficult one today. But if you just look back at the amount of shots we had, at the way we dominated ball possession, I think in the end we deserved to win it. But because of the scoreline, it was a difficult one.
Yeah, and whilst you have found a way today, how important is it you see that intensity across the full 90 when you come up against Man City next weekend?
Yeah, but first of all, we play against Real Madrid, which is also... We face now the 2 teams that have dominated football, I think, in the last 4 or 5 years. So City especially here in the Premier League, but also won the Champions League once. And Real Madrid is known for winning the Champions League almost every year. So 2 big games coming up, 2 interesting ones for us to play. But therefore we needed to win today, and that's where I'm most happy about.
Okay. Thanks for your time today, Arne.
You're welcome.
Thank you. To start, perhaps head in your hands when the penalty was awarded against you towards the end. Does that sum it up, leaving here empty-handed?
Yeah, obviously I'm very disappointed. I'm very proud of a lot of the performance. I think we went toe-to-toe with them and the best team in the league at the moment. And there was a lot of good stuff. So a lot of stuff that we could have done better. I think the quality of their goals is the biggest disappointment. So we gift them. I wouldn't mind if there's a bit of individual magic and all that, but they're really not good. The 2 goals and then the penalty as well. So I also have an issue with Adam Armstrong not getting a penalty at 2-1 up. I have a big issue with that, I think, after watching it back in slow motion, and is what VAR is there for. So Adam is trying to play the ball, the goalie tries to play the ball and misses it and collides to Adam, and then it gets given a handball against Adam. So in my opinion, it's a penalty. It's not the reason we lose, but 2-1, that's a big, big moment. And then, of course, it's subjective about Yuki's handball. They give it. I haven't seen it back, so I have to accept that. But I have a big problem with that decision. And yeah, there's a real clear offside as well. We ask our guys to defend a high line from a wide free kick, maybe a minute and 50 seconds or whatever before they score. But there's 5 of their players offside and it doesn't get given. So I'm annoyed at that. I'm proud of a lot of performance. I'm annoyed at the goals we concede, and I'm disappointed we don't get anything from the game.
England's rugby team badly in need of a win, and they have an early try from Ben Earl against vetted by Marcus Smith. They lead 7-0. Liverpool found themselves in bad need of a goal at 2-1 down at Southampton. They got not 1 but 2 from Mo Salah. Here he is with Emma Saunders.
Goal in your time at Liverpool. Just how important were those 2 today?
Well, it's very important, especially we were down 2-1, so I'm glad that we managed to win the game. That's the most important thing.
From going ahead early on, Southampton did manage to find a way to turn it round. Usually Liverpool have been so ruthless when they've gone ahead so far this season. What perhaps was lacking a little bit today?
Well, each game is different. I think they have a game plan. They play very well, and they managed to score early, but we also managed to come back to the game and win the game.
2 of the goals today coming from individual errors, really, from Southampton. Could you smell blood in that regard? Did you sense your opportunity would come from that at some point?
I think we have a good game plan. We tried to play our game, and I was confident that we're going to have chances, and that's the only focus in my head in that time was like focus and use the opportunity to score.
8 points clear now at the summit. You've won many times this season, but how big does that feel with Manchester City slipping up again last night?
It's a great. Hopefully we keep going that direction, and also that we have a game against them. So hopefully we win it and we go ahead more like 11 points or something.
Going into next weekend, do you still see them as your main title rival?
Yeah, of course. Man City is Man City. They had the bad time now, but they're going to strike back. They have a great coach, great players. And yeah, hopefully we can beat them and we'll go further.
All right, well done today. Congratulations. This is all yours. You can add it to the collection.
Thank you.
Keeping an eye on the video print as well, scores around Europe. Ajax, chance to go up to third place, up one place above Feyenoord if they can win today. In the inform, Brian Brobby has given them the lead against Zwolle. As we go to St Mary's, where Liverpool came from behind to win 3-2 against Southampton and go 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Their opening goal came from Dominic Szoboszlai. Here he is with Emma Saunders.
Done, but how hard have you had to work out there today?
I think you saw it if you watched the game. We came out second half a little bit, not how we started the game. And as you know, they are a really good team, playing good with the ball, also against the ball, and they scored 2 quick goals. But the most important was the reaction. So I think we showed the reaction very well, and we are happy with the 3 points.
Your goal today, in fact the second as well, you've capitalised really on a Southampton mistake there. Going into the game this afternoon, is that what you expected? That might be where the chances come from with that press, trying to capitalise on those mistakes?
Well, of course, we had a couple of meetings before the game, and we knew it. They tried to build up from behind, and sometimes they do really well, but sometimes also they are humans as well, so they do mistakes, and that was the case. We pressed really well, and then they made a mistake and could score a goal. Yeah.
Mo Salah's scored many goals in a Liverpool shirt. How important are those 2 that he's come up with today?
No, very, very well. Everybody knows Mo. He just needs to keep going, and hopefully I can play with him as long as I can.
8 points clear now at the top of the Premier League table at this early stage in the season. Just how much of a grip does that give you on this title race now to be so far in front?
Of course, it's a great feeling, but as you say, it's the beginning of the season, so we still need to continue and just don't think about where City is, where Arsenal is, where the other teams are, because as long as we do like how we do now, we're going to continue.
As you go into next weekend against City, do you still see them as your main title rivals?
Of course. You've seen the last 6 years, they won 5 or 4, I don't even know. Of course, it's never finished until it's finished.
Thanks for your time, Will.
It may not have been the prettiest or the easiest of victories, but it's 3 points that takes Liverpool 8 points clear at the top of the table. If we put this into comparison where teams have been at this stage in the season, when teams have had this lead, they've gone on to win the Premier League title. Manchester United, the only side to have had a bigger lead at this stage, and they went on to win it. Could they be in any better position, really, Jamie?
No, it's been the dream start for them. You know, the fact that Manchester City is struggling, Arsenal have obviously struggled with injuries. It feels it's perfect for them right now. Now, who knows? Liverpool might get an injury. They might have to suffer for a little while. But today was just about getting that 3 points. It was a tough game. They weren't vintage. It wasn't pretty. They could have been 3-1 down if that penalty would have been given. And then you're looking at it thinking, what a nightmare after what happened with Manchester City gifting you yesterday. But so far for Arne Slot, that is exactly where you want to be. You're in a great position coming up to Christmas. Keep everybody fit and just keep ticking over. Roy, you've done it plenty of times.
And you know what? You obviously want to play well every week if you can, but Liverpool portrait. But you also got great satisfaction in getting a result when you've not been at your very best. And I thought Liverpool weren't great today, but I go back to it. Scored 3 goals, huge win, 8 points clear. I bet you they can't believe it. The start of the season, what's happened to the other teams, but Liverpool took full advantage of it. They've been excellent. They had the one blip against Forest. Liverpool have been excellent. Big goal threat. Again, bit of luck with injuries. What a chance to have a win in this title.
Is he in a title race, as Roy says? How important are those games where you haven't played well and get the victory? How much are they sort of indicators of the way that a season is going?
Yeah, they're integral really to a title charge. But I think the other significance around that win today for Liverpool was it's the first game back after international break. You've not had the players together for a while. You don't know the state of the players' fitness levels when they come back in. And Southampton really made them work for it. They really did. Liverpool, I thought, to start the game, they got lucky. Russell Martin alluded to that in his interview around, he's disappointed with the cheap goals they conceded, particularly the first one, Szoboszlai's goal, great finish, but the way that, Southampton caused that issue was fortuitous for Liverpool, but they punished them, and that's what good teams do. And everything looks really smooth now for Liverpool. I'm sure there'll be bumps in the road, of course, but I think, it's a dream start, and it's also questioning, can Chelsea, can Arsenal can Arsenal really capitalise on this blip for Manchester City? Because it's not often we say that they've lost 5 in a row.
Well, that's what's quite interesting about this title race is that this morning, after City's defeat and Arsenal's win before Liverpool's game, Liverpool were favourites, Arsenal second favourites, and Manchester City third favourites at this stage for the Premier League title. Now, look, as we've all said, this City side have shown at various stages that they can go on these incredible winning runs. So we're not saying it's a done deal, Jamie, but it's still an unusual position for them to be in.
Yeah, but I make them right. That I would see it as Arsenal and Liverpool are the two best sides right now. Manchester City, I don't want to be foolish and write them off, because you write them off at your peril because of what they've done in the history. They're one of the best sides I've ever seen, but they're not there. They're not. You know, the Kevin De Bruyne is not the Kevin De Bruyne of 5 years ago that could just turn a game and win it on his own. You know, in terms of no Rodri, no Kovacic for a month, it's going to be incredibly hard for them. Can they still win the title? Absolutely, but I don't think they're going to win it in a way where they're going to go 16, 17 wins on the bounce. I don't think they're capable, this team, of doing that.
It's just not a defeat for Man City. It's the way they're losing their games, that lack of intensity in terms of defending and really defending your goal. Talk about the goals, the chances they're conceding. See how well Liverpool have done, and again all them snippets you've just mentioned there, the couple of injuries, players all getting a bit older, Pep, the success over the last few years, it's actually surprising me it took him this long to have such a really bad spell. The success they've had the last 4 or 5 years is fantastic. So to me this is the most natural thing in the world, that you're going to have some sort of dip. Now Man City's dip is they're still a very good team to watch and they'll still be a threat. But I really think it'll be very difficult for Man City to win the league this year with the performances and a lot of their top players who perform week in week out. Too many of them are just off it, and of course the injury to Rodri is huge. He's such a big player for him, not just his quality but that physical presence in the middle of the park. They look lost in midfield without him, absolutely lost.
It's been a Premier League blockbuster over the last few years, Liverpool, Manchester City, especially at Anfield. And a lot of those times, Manchester City have gone in as favourites and not got the result that they wanted. This is going to be a change next weekend because Liverpool are going to be the favourites. So that brings an expectation, brings a little bit of pressure, maybe brings an extra pressure from the fans as well. They might have to be a bit more patient. But I think if you look to that City side in midfield, yes, they couldn't live with Tottenham's intensity. And I think that will be a big factor for Liverpool next week.
If you think Liverpool can beat them next week and turn up, and Liverpool are at their very best, and obviously the fans are behind them, and they do beat Man City, what a statement that would be next weekend for Man City to be so far behind. It would be over for them next week if they lose to Liverpool. So it's a big test for Liverpool, dealing with that expectation. And we'll see Man City. Are we actually thinking of writing them off? Yes, we are, because of their performances. Can they bounce back next week?
Yeah, after 5 defeats on the spin, we will find out if Manchester City can turn it around. And as you say, what a game it would be to turn it around for them.
I'm sure he is. He's the joint fastest to 10 Premier League wins in his first 10 in Premier League history. And Liverpool are 8 points clear. We'll talk about that huge week in a moment. He's talking about not playing well for the 90 minutes. I mean, have they, it sounds a silly question when they're 8 points clear, but have they really played well in a whole game and controlled a Premier League game yet this season?
Yeah, I mean, they probably have, but there's not a lot of performances that spring to mind, isn't it? You know, I'm not kicking
Should that be a worry for other clubs?
United, but they won easy at Old Trafford, but they didn't win at Ipswich easy. You know, they've won games, but they haven't performed outstandingly well in a lot of them. But it doesn't really matter, does it? You know, the fact that I can't remember suggests that, you know, they've just carried on with the job and they've rolled on and they've been more impressive performance-wise probably in the Champions League. They've gotten over the line numerous times and come from behind, and numerous times in the Premier League. But the games now, and you don't even have to get yourself up for the games. They got Real Madrid on Wednesday, who were struggling really, and they got a lot of injury problems, so that shouldn't be a problem. The big one's Manchester City in the league. That's what everybody will sit back and look at, because they're going through a tough time themselves, and Liverpool are flying, and people are saying the league could be decided between those two sides on Sunday if Liverpool get the right results or City get the negative results.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, this time next week...
In December, yeah, 1st of December.
December the 1st, City could be 11 points behind Liverpool. They don't come back from that, do they?
You would think not, with the way things are going at the moment, but you never know. I mean, Pep's done it before, hasn't he? You know, they've had bad starts and come like a train and, you know, scare the life out of everyone, whoever they play against, but it looks very far-fetched at the moment, but... You know, that's a reality, isn't it? You can see Liverpool beating Man City next week.
And also, you need to stay fit, Ted, don't you? You can't go gung-ho, we're going to do this, Liverpool are going to do this, because if they lose Salah and Van Dijk and another and it's long term, well, then Liverpool have got major problems, and that's what City have lost. They lost De Bruyne for a while, then they've lost Rodri for a long time, which is very unfortunate. Kovacic, you know, Arsenal lost Ødegaard, they lost Declan for a bit. So you need to keep your best players fit, and if Liverpool can keep them fit and have that type of squad they had today, they should go very far. But you can't say it's nailed on that they won't, you know, they can't do this and they can't do that. No. Because football just comes back to kick you in the face sometimes, doesn't it, with injuries?
I think there's a lot of top quality sides at the top of the table as well, where I don't think it necessarily comes down to just Manchester City beating Liverpool beating Manchester City. I think Chelsea are getting better, so they could take points off either one of those two. Arsenal there, with Ødegaard coming back, some of the players they've got. We've seen Spurs, what they can do on their day. They've beaten Manchester City 4-0 at the Etihad. So I don't think it necessarily comes down to those two just playing each other. I think a lot of the top sides on any given day could take points of any of them, but Liverpool so far have been fantastic. Bar that Nottingham Forest result, which is a prime example, who've started off really well. Anyone could really beat anyone at the top of the table, but I just think Liverpool's consistency might see them over the line this year.
Has they surprised you post-Klopp, how consistent they've been under Arne Slot?
Most definitely. I think you would put it down that new manager coming in, transition. Is he going to upset a few egos at Liverpool? But I think he's been very clever. You know, the way he's come in, and he could be saying things to the press which upsets the fans, and don't have a go at Klopp because he was our hero. We loved him for the last, you know, all that up to the crowd, up to the cop. He's just, you know, he said some lovely things about Klopp that, you know, that he hasn't had to change a lot because it was fantastic here, and he's right. You know, it's very unusual to go into a football club when they're on a high. You normally go into a football club because someone's got sacked because it's not good enough. So you have to repair a few things. He hasn't had to do that, and he's done it very well, though.
And just on that potential 11-point gap if City lose at Anfield, this is what Pep had to say yesterday after losing to Tottenham.
Were you to lose at Anfield next weekend, that could be an 11-point gap to Liverpool. Would that be too much?
Yeah. In the terms of Liverpool is winning, it's true. Yeah.
I love him.
I know.
love him.
How cool was that answer?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Come back in February and then ask me again. But that's exactly what it is, isn't it? At this moment in time, it's too much. Because they're struggling and Liverpool are not. But you never know. No. You never know in 2 months' time the circumstances.
I don't like to remind you, not in 97-98, in December, you were 13 points clear of Arsenal.
Move on.
It's unlikely, but it can be done. It can be done.
Yes, it can be done, of course. And that's why, you know, a lot of people who get asked questions who have played for the respective clubs are never gung-ho about it, you know, saying, oh, they're nailed on to do this. Because we've seen it so often in history, in the past. We've been involved in games where you're expected to win, you lose, and then next week you're expected to win, you lose again, and suddenly it's panic stations. So if you want to be involved in all the competitions like all the best teams are, you're going to play a lot of games between now and the end of the season. And, you know, you have to be confident, you have to just stay positive and keep moving forward, and Liverpool will have to do that.
And has that result yesterday just kept Arsenal's head above water in all this?
Yeah, of course. But again, Arsenal, they've been a bit patchy of late, but Ødegaard coming back's massive. Getting that result against Forest, because Forest have started off really, really well. But they've got to keep believing. I mean, to catch Liverpool's going to take some doing. You're relying on other teams to get results against Liverpool. Manchester City, as bad as they are, I don't expect them to stay that bad all season. But all Arsenal can keep doing is winning games. And if it comes to a point where the gap is closer, then Arsenal have to capitalise. But we've seen the last couple of seasons, unfortunately, even when they've had a lead, they haven't managed to hang on to it. But all they can do is keep winning games and hope somewhere down the line Liverpool drop points.
It's going to be some game next Sunday. I mean, the City have to get something out of it, realistically, joking apart.
Realistically, yes, without a shadow of a doubt. And they need to find something this week. They need to get a bit of togetherness. Otherwise, Liverpool will steamroll them the way they've been playing recently.
What a week for Liverpool. I mean, we're going to be at Anfield next Sunday. You're there on Wednesday as well.
Yeah. A massive week. You don't need to get the crowds on your side. You don't need any rhetoric. Real Madrid, who've got a poor record against Liverpool, are coming to town with injury worries themselves, so Liverpool will be big favourites for that. And then, you know, they've got Manchester City. The crowd will be baying for everything, won't they? So it's going to be an incredible atmosphere for both games. The players are looking forward to it. It's better playing these games than, you know, some minnows of European football. What a week for the Liverpool fans.
Absolutely. What a day for us. We've enjoyed it. Teddy, great to have you with us. Darren, good to see you. Macca, thank you much indeed, as always. Plenty to do in the red of Manchester United for Ruben Amorim. The red of Arne Slot moves on.